Hello everyone. Today is 3rd of March. Now it's 9:05. Sorry that I'm a little late because of some technical stuff. And this is traditional Sunday live stream. Thank you all for participating in this stream. And well, as always, I will share with you some news that was reported during the day by Russian media outlets, and after that I will check chat, and if I see any questions I will try to react and answer best way I can. And well, hopefully we will have a nice community chat. Once again, thank you all for participating in the stream, and of course many thanks to all the members of our community who will watch this stream later on. And well, that's been said, let's go through the news now. And of course, first of all I will share with you breaking news, I guess, for this moment. It's not even breaking news, but many media outlets report about it. All the Telegram channels that I see report about it. Of course, I'm talking about another destroyed US Abrams tank. I did share on my Telegram photo of that destroyed tank. This is it, by the way. And on one of the military channels I did see reporting that Russian military personnel targeted this Abrams tank in Berdichi area, by the way, which is northern flank of Avdiivka, of course. And first Russian forces targeted this Abrams tank in the trucks, and once tank was immobilized, then well, rest of it was I mean, matter of technique, I guess. And tank was destroyed. No information about crew. Probably crew members ran away. And well, this is at least second Abrams tank that was destroyed in Ukraine. But some channels are reporting, including big channels, by the way, like Solovyov Live. It's this channel has million subscribers, and just several minutes ago I did so reporting that this is third Abrams tank. I don't know, I did not see footage of third destroyed tank, so I will count this one as a second one. It's not really big deal, but because of this whole media campaign that was waged in the West about these wonder weapons, you know, there were Challenger tanks, there were Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, then ATACMS or HIMARS missiles, Storm Shadows, Scalps, and Abrams tanks also, of course. And well, that's why everybody is paying a little more attention to this quite trivial situation on the battle. For Russian units, it don't really makes any difference. It's Abrams tank opposite of them and needs to be destroyed, or Challenger 2 or T-64 that Ukraine itself is used to be able to produce in different variations. So yes, that's first news. According to TASS news agency, tank was destroyed by FPV drones. Upir, that's the name of FPV drone that Russian Armed Forces is using quite successfully. But yet again, I also see some other reports that first tank was targeted with ITGM, and after tank was immobilized, then probably, yes, FPV drones also targeted it. So yes, that's a breakthrough, I guess, and it's quite ironic, isn't it, that FPV drones that cost several $100s are able to destroy multi-million-dollar equipment. But that's a new reality on the battlefield. And of course, after this conflict will end, all the militaries worldwide will of course concentrate heavily on drone warfare, because it's just a future of the war at this point. It's clear as day. RIA Novosti's report also that in Ingushetia Autonomous Republic of Russian Federation, counter-terrorist operation has been finished. Yesterday evening, Russian security services start counter-terrorist operation to neutralize in Karabulak settlement of Ingushetia, to neutralize some terrorist group that is affiliated with ISIS, according to some reports that I see. And as a result of this counter-terrorist operation, 6 terrorists were neutralized, and there were no killed personnel among security forces. I did read on some channels that 3 members of security services were wounded, but none of them, their lives are in danger, so they receive all necessary medical treatment straight away. Unfortunately, well, terrorism is an issue for every country in this world, and Russia is not exception, of course. And time to time, Russian secret services are conducting operations to neutralize terrorists that have some connection with the terrorist groups that are operating in the Middle East. And also, by the way, nowadays we all see a new phenomenon, if I may say this way, in terms of terrorism, Ukrainian terrorism. Kiev regime, Zelensky and his associates are terrorists and mass murderers, in my personal opinion, and I can bring plenty of evidences to prove that they really are terrorists, and they are conducting themselves as terrorists. Same goes for Ukraine's military, Ukraine's secret services. They are terrorist organizations, and I hope Moscow sooner than later, rather than later, will designate them as terrorist organizations and their leaders as terrorists. Also, by the way, RIA Novosti's report that Margarita Simonyan, who is of course editor-in-chief of Russia Today and a media holding Россия Сегодня, this media group is also called Russia Today, and it's not just RT, but also many other media outlets in this holding. And she said that we should be ready, because she might receive some more files about some interesting conversations that some high-ranking officials in the West, let's say, had in the past, and she may reveal this information to public, as she did with a few days ago with this conversation of high-ranking German military officials when they were discussing deliveries of Taurus long-range cruise missiles to Kiev regime, and also terrorist attack on Crimean Bridge. And by the way, so maybe she did not say that she will definitely 100% will publish some additional information, but in her comment she was kind of, she was giving us some hints that maybe something else also is coming when it comes to revelations of that type. And by the way, according to Wall Street Journal, leak Crimean Bridge attack recordings, and this is exactly what I was talking about when these high-ranking German officers were discussing this topic, could deepen rift in NATO. So let's go through some sentences here. So leaked recordings outlining the German military's alleged plans to help Ukraine use long-range missiles to attack Crimean Bridge could cause a rift between Berlin and its NATO allies, the Wall Street Journal reported on Saturday. On Friday, RT's editor-in-chief Margarita Simonyan released a Russian-language transcript of what was claimed to be a conversation between several high-ranking Luftwaffe officers Luftwaffe is, of course, German's air force, in which they discussed their operational and targeting details of Taurus long-range missiles, which Germany is currently debating whether to send to Ukraine. As through the delivery had already been agreed upon. The officials also spoke about how to maintain plausible deniability if Ukraine used their weapons to strike the strategically important Crimean bridge. The German Defense Ministry has confirmed that the conversation had indeed been intercepted with an investigation into the matter underway. So when it comes to possible rift in between NATO member states, well, all NATO member states, one way or another, some more, some maybe less, are dependent on Washington. So no matter how much, for example, Scholz and Macron, for example, or Scholz, German Chancellor, and French President Macron, or German Chancellor and British Prime Minister Sunak are disliking each other, it don't really matter, isn't it? Because one call from Washington and, well, these guys will do whatever they are told to do, whatever they are ordered to do. And therefore, well, Wall Street Journal may have some points here that, yes, relationships, especially between Scholz and Macron and Sunak or British leadership was deteriorating recently, exactly because it seems like despite these extreme anti-Russian steps and statements from German government, it seems like they are trying to somewhat distance themselves as much as possible from further involvement in this conflict against Russia. But yet again, it's all up to Washington, really. I don't think any of these leaders or anybody in EU leadership has any say at all. Washington and London, and when I say London, of course, I don't mean Sunak, by the way. Sunak is just puppet, nobody. I mean real decision makers or deal brokers. Of course, those shadow groups in Washington and London will deal with all the issues, and there will be no significant rift in NATO, at least not now. And by the way, TASS News Agency's report that head of German Defense Ministry made a statement, Pistorius, that even though German high-ranking officers were discussing these Taurus deliveries, missile deliveries to Kiev regime, and many other topics, including terrorist attack on Crimean bridge, decision have not been made yet. At least that's what Pistorius is trying to argue. So I don't know, man. Yet again, I find it difficult to believe anything that comes out from these so-called elites or high-ranking officials. They may say one thing today and exactly the opposite tomorrow. And we see that kind of behavior quite a number of times. And therefore, yes, theoretically, of course, just because these high-ranking officers of Luftwaffe were discussing some topics, including Taurus, Crimean bridge, and so on, automatically not means that decisions have been made and missiles will be delivered. But yet again, if Washington will order those missiles to be delivered, that's what will happen, I'm afraid. And RT's report about response from former Russian president and current deputy chairman of Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev. Germany, according to him, is preparing for a war with Russia. Yet again, let's go through some sentences here. Recently leaked recordings of senior German officers discussing potential attack on the Crimean bridge leaves no doubts that Berlin is preparing for a military conflict with Moscow. The former Russian president Dmitry Medvedev warned on his Telegram channel on Sunday. Medvedev, who is currently deputy head of the Russian Security Council, was commenting on audio that surfaced earlier this week. Okay. Maybe this is also a warning, yet another warning from Moscow to the Western ruling class that, you know what, we are interpreting your moves as a preparation for war. And it was exactly the Medvedev who said about 2 weeks ago, if I remember correctly, that if confrontation will take place between Russia and NATO, of course Russia will use all means necessary to defend itself, because and not just conventional weapons, because one should keep in mind how big of a difference is when it comes to comparison of NATO member states combined and Russia. Single state Russia. NATO member states collectively have over a billion people. Their GDP is 10 times, 20 times bigger than Russian GDP. Of course, military-industrial complex of combined military-industrial complex of NATO member states are incomparably more powerful, with much more bigger potential than Russian ones, even if right now at this point Western military-industrial complex is unable to catch up with some munition production and so on. Just give it a time, by the way, and everyone understands. Give it like 6 months, another year or more, and if necessary, this industrial capabilities of the West will be shifted towards mobilization, military mobilization, and well, in that regard, I don't think there is many countries in this world that can cope with the same level of productions that NATO member states will achieve in that case. And Medvedev highlighted all this stuff, all these nuances, and said that's why he said that if there is direct confrontation, one should always keep in mind that we will use all means necessary to protect ourselves, and all means necessary, of course, includes nuclear weapons also. And if it comes to nukes, then well, Medvedev said himself that then well, it will be end of everything. So, you know, but when it comes to preparations for a war with Russia, it's not just Germany, by the way. Just take a look at the statements that Western high-ranking officials are making almost every other day. It's every single member state of NATO that is preparing for a war formally with Russia, but you know, I think in reality, Western ruling class wants to prepare NATO for a war with China, not with Russia. Their main target is China, but they are using Russia. They demonize Russia exactly because they wanted this relaxed Western world to get mobilized for a real war. And that's what is happening right now. And well, at least that's how I see it. And I believe at some point, battle capabilities of the collective West will definitely increase significantly, and the manpower also, number of manpower also, because several states now openly are considering to impose conscription again. And I'm 100% sure all these preparations that we see now and we will see in the future are not to fight Russia, but to fight China. This is my take on the situation. I believe Western ruling elites still have a dream that at some point they will conduct some regime change in Russia and they will use Russia against China or something like that. They see Russia as a main theater of operations against China. That's how they perceive Russia, by the way. They want to provoke somehow confrontation between Russia and China. I spoke about this topic a number of times before, and well, if they will succeed, I hope not, but if they will, of course, a confrontation between Russia and China, just to have a thought experiment, will devastate entire world, obviously, but first of all, a global East, global South. And this way, Western ruling class will just will get involved in this crisis as late as possible to receive as minimal damage as possible, and they will just take out everyone and everything that will be left, to make sure that never ever there will be force in this world that will challenge dominance of the Western ruling class. This is a big topic, of course, big topic, and well, I don't think I can fully display my reading of big picture in this stream, but sometime in the future maybe we will talk a little more on this topic. RIA Novosti's report that Turkish businessmen, by the way, are so upset with US secondary sanctions and the risks that they may end up being sanctioned because of their working relationships with their Russian partners, that they are now considering to sue government of US for these illegal sanctions. Because I mean, and I can understand why, by the way, because first of all, Turkish economy is in quite difficult situation, and they need any partnership anywhere. That's a big issue. Secondly, Russia is a great opportunity for Turkish businesses. Great opportunity. Turkey is exporting from Russia whatever it needs, and Turkey is importing from Russia whatever it needs and exporting whatever they can sell on Russian market. And the Russian market is quite huge, really. It may not be like a Chinese market or a US market, but after all, I mean, we are 150 million people here, even more. And of course, to be presented on this market is a big deal for Turkish businesses and any businesses, really. And therefore they are upset, and well, good luck to them. I don't think they will achieve any success in the Western judiciary system. It's not possible, but it's only like a legend, isn't it, that in the West there is justice and freedom and this and that. But in reality, come on, man, what justice? What justice? Julian Assange is still in prison. What we are talking about? What we are talking about? What judiciary? It's as corrupt as hell, by the way, this Western so-called judiciary system, and it's a total shame. And that's why I don't think. And look what Biden's administration with their proxies and their proxies are doing with Trump, by the way. One may like Trump or dislike him, but we clearly see political prosecution of Trump when exactly judiciary system have been used, and they want to bankrupt Trump now. They were unable to put him in prison, at least for now. They will try again and again, undoubtedly, but well, they managed to successfully use this judiciary system to basically hammer financial situation for Trump, and he have to pay now fines like over 400 million or something like that, which is insanity, by the way. Maybe Trump was doing some, I don't know how he was doing business, man. I have no idea, but I'm quite sure Trump was using very same gaps and opportunities that exists in the US that any other billionaire in the US. So if they are attacking Trump, then why they are not attacking anyone else? So therefore, it's clearly political prosecution. There is no way around it. So yes, Turkish businessmen, I can understand that they are upset with this intervention of the foreign powers in their business. First of all, Washington, but I mean, they can try. They can try. TASS news agencies report that. On the ship that sank in the Red Sea, by the way, it was a British commercial ship, Radimar, and that ship sank after Houthi strike, of course. And there is 21,000 tons of fertilizers on board of this ship. 21,000 tons of fertilizers. So I will say all the ships and everybody in radius of, I don't know, man, some 10 to 15 kilometers at least, if not more, from this ship were very lucky because well, fertilizers in certain conditions may explode. We all remember what happened in Beirut, isn't it? Several years ago, when in the portal area, some few thousand tons of fertilizers exploded, and that was devastating for Beirut, isn't it? That it was Beirut, isn't it? I believe it was Beirut, by the way. So we all see that shocking videos from the region. So yes, it was Beirut, by the way. It was Beirut. Beirut is a port where that fertilizer was located for several years. And well, then some explosion happened, and it was something unbelievable. So it was 5,000 tons of fertilizers, something like that. And can you imagine what would happen if 21,000 tons of fertilizers will explode? Wow. And now I don't know what kind of impact will this stuff have on environment. Nothing good, I guess. But well, it is what it is, man. Unfortunate, very unfortunate situation. And RIA Novosti is reporting that former Austrian Foreign Minister Karin Kneissl made a statement that well, she is planning now to build a house in Russia. She basically moved in Russia to live here, and she has some big plans, by the way. She wants to build her home and well, build up her life in Russia. And good luck to her, absolutely. I mean, she is not the first foreigner that came to Russia to find peace, and I believe there will be many others, by the way, and there are many others that are coming into Russia. And you know my take on the situation. I believe it's really necessary to conduct some advertising campaign worldwide, and especially in the Western states, by the way, especially in the Western states, and invite people to emigrate in Russia. And well, it will benefit all sides, by the way. In the West, we all know that many people are not happy with this neoliberal, some crazy ideologies that is pushed over the society, and seems like there is no way to stop these crazes. And this is one of the reasons why so many people are now moving to Russia. And I believe with the advertising, also with minimization of the bureaucratic some stuff that migrants have to go through, thousands and thousands, maybe even millions of people will come to Russia from the West, and they will bring knowledge, technology. This is, I mean, hardworking people. It will benefit Russian society, and it will benefit future Russian citizens, future migrants, and then Russian citizens. So this is a good example, by the way. More people should emigrate to Russia, undoubtedly. And well, this is it. Well, not everyone may agree with me, by the way. This is my personal take on the situation. I see opportunity that tens of thousands, or maybe hundreds of thousands, and even millions of people from the Western state may emigrate into Russia and bring with them their families, of course, their knowledge and expertise, they will build businesses here. It will be hugely beneficial, in my personal opinion, for Russian state, for society here in Russia. Although I don't know, some people may disagree with me, because topic of migration is that kind of topic, you know, that causes some disturbances in societies worldwide. So yes, this is it, by the way, when it comes to short summary. And now let's have a chat, by the way. Hopefully you will find this this block of the news somewhat interesting. And well, now let's I cannot believe this, man. 252 of us right now online. Thank you all, dear friends. Thank you all. How that happened? Usually it's only like sometimes 100 of us on the stream, you know, sometimes little more, but 250? Wow. Thank you all. I didn't expect this. And well, now let's have a chat. Now let's have a chat. If I see, dear friends, any question, of course I will try to answer. And if you have a question, please write capital Q before the question, or entire question in the capital letters, and I will try to answer. So I'm not quite sure I'm seeing all the questions, by the way. Unfortunately, OBS does some kind of strange stuff, because recently, after a stream, it was Sunday stream, I believe, and after stream ended, my wife told me that there was a number of questions, I mean, many questions that I did not answer, and she was asking me, what is going on? Do you see those questions? And I said no. And I did not see it because OBS is not showing all the questions, I guess. And I'm seeing now these comments on OBS here. I can use YouTube's chat. So questions. Unbelievable, man. I guess some member of our community, maybe several members of our community, share the link to live stream, and that's how this many people came. Thank you for your support, dear friends. I appreciate it. And question: What is the Victor Tsiplenkov is asking, what is it, Tsiplenkov? What you mean, though? What you mean? What your surname means? Tsiplenkov. I mean, Цыпленок is a. I don't want you to be offended. Цыпленок is not a bird word, by the way. It's a Цыпленок is a how you say it, baby chicken, smaller one. But I don't think this surname comes from that. It may have very deep roots. So therefore, I don't know. I mean, roots of this surname. Sorry. Questions. Question: Should Russia have stiffer responses to NATO countries' involvement to Ukraine. Grim44 is asking, well, many people will agree with you here in Russia, and maybe worldwide, not maybe, definitely worldwide, but, and sometimes, by the way, I may get emotional during my news updates, and I may say some, I will do this and I will do that, but I mean, we are ordinary citizens, and these guys that are ruling countries, they are in very different position. Take Putin, for example. Can he act differently? In some circumstances, maybe, but I don't think there is a... Well, I will say this way. Someone has to be adult in the room. Because if Russian leadership will act on emotions, and if Russian leadership will also escalate every single time that West does it, then we will definitely end up in a nuclear disaster. Do we need this? I don't think so. And therefore, of course, on emotional level, well, many will agree with you that maybe Russia should have some stiffer response to NATO's escalatory steps. But on other hand, well, thanks God that Russian government is behaving in a way that they do, avoiding further escalation as much as possible and direct conflict, because they know perfectly well eventually this direct conflict between the sides will be total disaster for not just for involved sides, but for entire humanity. So this is my question. I don't think they can. I mean, they really have any real openings. Is it right word to act stiffer? They will just, they will, I guess, they will highlight real red lines, maybe not openly, but in some through some diplomatic means. And if those red lines are crossed, then only then Moscow may act in a different way, in an escalatory way. But right now, well, one should really be happy that Moscow is acting extremely responsible way, which is good, by the way, because I don't even want to think about what would happen if Russia and NATO will really end up in a direct conflict. It will be 1,000 times scarier that we see in disaster movies, post-apocalyptic movies. So, and question. I see John Dickinson is asking question, veteran of our community. Good evening, John. The one, I don't know if you have the same button on your software, but on YouTube app, I always need to switch from top messages to all messages. Oh, I have also, by the way. I guess, I cannot see now because this is live stream and there is no comments, but yes, I have all messages and or top messages, and yes, there is that sweep, and because I'm reading comments and trying to react on as many comments as possible, periodically I may forget to switch, but quite often I'm checking latest comments also to make sure that I see as many comments as possible. So yes, I have also this stuff. I don't know about Rumble, but on YouTube, yes. And Nidish Kumar is asking, do you think West will breed extremists in Central Asia to make Eurasia Economic Council not work properly? I'm 100% sure about this. I'm 100% sure about this, by the way. I spoke a number of times in previous updates that, in my personal opinion, one of the main tasks of Western ruling class and secret services is to destabilize Central Asian republics, first of all, ones that are bordering China, and then use territories of those republics as a kind of trampoline to infiltrate Chinese northern western regions where compactly are living Uyghur minority and many other minorities. It's not just Uyghur, by the way, people, and they are Muslims, of course. We all know this, and I believe Western secret services are training quite a big number of Uyghur, for example, people in Syria, in Idlib province, and my reading of the situation is that at some point those terrorist groups that are now located in Idlib province of Syria will be transferred to Central Asia. Once this, if Western ruling elites will manage to destabilize Central Asian republics, for example, Kazakhstan, I believe Kyrgyzstan is bordering with China also, and so yes, I'm afraid Central Asian republics, their security services have to be extremely cautious, because all these delegations from the West that going in and may are promising many good things. In reality, they want to destabilize that region to use against China. Because major conflict right now, by the way, is between Western ruling class and China. That's how it is. I mean, people worldwide may are confused a little bit, and they think that major conflict is going on between West and Russia. And technically speaking, right now, yes, West is directly involved in conflict with Russia by using Ukraine as a proxy. But on a global scale, conflict is between West and China. And of course, Western ruling elites will use any means necessary to weaken China and eventually to take it out, neutralize as a opponent. Question. Unfortunately, that's a type of people that is so-called elites in the ruling class in the West are. They cannot tolerate idea that this world can be multipolar, and they cannot tolerate idea that well, they have to listen to us, for example. They have to listen to India. They have to listen to China, South Africa, not just South Africa, but African nations, Latin American nations, because we all have our opinions how world should be run and what is right and what is wrong. But Western ruling class, by the way, for the last 300 to 500 years, they were dominating world. And usually, when we are talking about Western ruling class, we are talking about families. On top of this pyramid, there are families that are, generational elites. They did not become in elites like yesterday or 50 years ago or 100 years ago. Many of them have a centuries-old history. And they just cannot change. Sorry, dear friends, if I miss any question. Mike Davidson is asking, so in Scotland and Ireland, do you guys have a carbon tax too? This is question for our friends from Scotland and Ireland. So I still cannot believe, dear friends. I mean, 248. Wow, that's well, I'm very grateful, dear friends, for your attention. Thank you. I did not expect this. Oh, Mike Davidson is commenting. I just found this channel. It's awesome. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Mike Davidson, for your attention and kind words. Douglas Bone is commenting. US 8 out of 10 voting machines prefer oligarchy. Well, these machines, by the way, voting machines, gonna be big deal, isn't it, in the US? Maybe it would be more preferable to use good older paper ballots. It might take longer time to count these millions and millions of votes, but at least you have something in your hand. When with machines, who knows who will hack these machines and how and in which favor. It's Tony Hiltonen is asking, will there be live with the Duran? Oh, I would like to invite Duran once again, and I may do it literally next week. If they have a very busy schedule, of course, and I will ask, and if not next week, maybe they will find some window week after. And of course, it will be a great honor to have a conversation with Alex and Alexander. And by the way, I'm extremely grateful to hosts of Duran Show, because they were first to notice my channel and my work, and they invite me. It was great experience and great honor, of course. And then I invite them when I start making interviews, and hopefully yes, I will manage to invite them on the channel. And there are so many topics to discuss, and opinion of Alexander and Alex will be extremely interesting and important, of course. Question: are the US preparing to drop Ukraine? Eventually, yes. Eventually, of course, because I believe once this conflict will end, Ukraine will be divided between Russia and NATO. Western regions of Ukraine will end up under NATO control, and formally they can use any pretext really to launch their to deploy their troops. And process may begin in fairly short time, especially after Macron's statements about deployment of NATO troops into Ukraine. And there are the different rumors, by the way. Some say those troops will be stationed in Western Ukraine. Some say in Western Ukraine and also in the border with Belarus, which will allow Kyiv regime to release some maybe even 100,000 military personnel to redeploy them towards frontline. Some are saying that these NATO troops will be located in the southern sectors. Hard to tell, but I'm 100% sure, no, 99% sure, let's say this way, that Ukraine will be divided and western regions will be reclaimed basically by Poland, Hungary and Romania, at least some of the territories. And they may not say it openly, but that's what eventually will happen. These western regions will end up being integrated into these countries. And of course, there will be NATO presence in the western Ukraine. And the rest of the Ukraine will be under full Russian control, including Kyiv and surrounding regions. That's my take on the situation. Although, of course, there is 1% chance, I guess, that Kyiv and surrounding few regions will remain as a landlocked quasi-independent state under the name of Ukraine for the time being. Although I don't see reasoning why would Moscow ever agree on that, because it is obvious, and Russian high-ranking officials already stated many times this, that if Ukraine will remain as a quasi-state. Of course, Western ruling elites will try to use it against Russia again and again and again, and it will be highly likely that in 10, 15, 20 or 30 years time there will be another confrontation. And for example, Medvedev, by the way, about months, maybe a little longer ago, made quite interesting statements about this. So yes, eventually, not just US, but entire West will drop Ukraine, and they will just occupy western regions of that country, and that's it. So Nidesh Kumar is asking, what do you make of Foreign Minister Lavrov main agenda for touring entire South America? Well, that's interesting, of course, and I guess this touring of Lavrov in South America, it began from Cuba, isn't it? First was Cuba, if I'm not mistaken, then Venezuela, then he went to Brazil. There was a summit of G20 foreign ministers there. Well, it will make nervous US leadership for sure, but I don't think this is the main goal. Most likely, Russian foreign ministry is testing the ground for any future opportunities to further improve relationships between the sides, between Russia and Latin America. Because when we say South America, by the way, it's immense potential, isn't it? It may not look like that now, but this continent has huge potential, and therefore Russia has every reason to be proactive there. And if you mean, for example, that Russia may deploy forces in Latin America or South America to make Washington go crazy about it, well, I don't think so, really. There are some people in Russian Duma, for example. There is, in every parliament, there are people that are, I would not say radicals, but have quite strong opinions or escalatory opinions. And not long ago, one of this well-known public figures, that is MP here in Russia, make statement about deployment of Russian nuclear weapons in Cuba and stuff like that. And I commented straight away that this is not happening. This is not happening because, yet again, somebody has to be adult in the room. Technically speaking, can Moscow do it? Of course can. Of course. But will Moscow do it? I don't think so, because we barely survived first Caribbean crisis. I don't think we need another one. So yet again, I mean, you may like it or not, but right now, in this extremely complex relationships between Russia and the West, only adult in the room is Moscow. And it's a huge responsibility, isn't it? Otherwise, of course, it's easy for Putin to say, you know what, let's escalate. Let's do this and that, but it will devastate everybody in this world. And he cannot do this, man. He already proved that he's a serious politician. He's a world level politician. I mean, at this point on the world stage, I don't think you have a politician that has same weight. You know. Do you think Venezuela is a candidate to join BRICS? Gary Kogan is asking. Well, when it comes to Venezuela, I had some issues with Argentina, I have to say, because of the economical situation in Argentina. And when Argentina became a candidate, I did not really understand why it happened. But maybe, you know, explanation could be that Moscow and the New Delhi and Beijing and leadership of South Africa and Brazil, maybe they already have some plan in the place how to support, how to help Argentina with reforms and investments to stabilize economy of Argentina, and maybe that was the case. We will probably never know, because well, this topic is closed now. Argentina will never become a, well, I would not say never, but at least not in foreseeable future will become a member of BRICS. And I have very same questions when it comes to Venezuela. Venezuela is even more difficult situation than Argentina is, believe it or not. And therefore, maybe it will be more, I mean, more practical to first help Venezuela to stand on its feet, to stabilize economical situation, to stabilize situation with the, to reform state institutions, to tackle crime and many other issues that there is in Venezuela. And after that, when country stands on its feet, strong enough, then I mean, then country should join BRICS. Only this way, I guess, it makes sense. But yet again, I don't know, man. When it comes to Argentina, according to some rumors, Brazil was actively lobbying Argentina to become a BRICS member states, and well, I guess other capitals say, you know what, I mean, if you say so, okay, let's do it. But I don't think that was the right move, and I don't think it will be right move to fast track this enlargement of the BRICS. Why? World is moving towards multipolarity anyway, like it or not. So I don't think there is necessity to artificially inflate BRICS. No. I hope I did answer to your question. Turomir is asking, Levan, do you think Cuba will join BRICS in the near future? In the near future, no. For very same reason, by the way. Cuba is in difficult economical situation, of course, and they are, I mean, until BRICS comes up with alternative financial and banking system, alternative to the Western banking and financial system, I don't think there is much openings or windows to do when it comes to Cuba, for example, because Cuba is heavily sanctioned, of course, maybe not as much as Russia, but very heavily sanctioned. And well, Russian businesses may not have right to go to Cuba, to invest in Cuba, but businesses from other BRICS member states, they will scare, because they will come up on the secondary sanctions from Washington, from Brussels, from London. And therefore, I'm saying so many times in my updates that it is extremely necessary to have an alternative financial system, isn't it? And banking system, alternative to the Western one, so that all these transactions will happen independently from Western regulators. And if that will happen, of course, it will be breakthrough, by the way, for Cuba, for Venezuela, also for many countries in this world. And then I believe it will not take longer before Cuba will become a candidate to join BRICS, and then eventually a member state. But yet again, this is definitely not next 5 years for sure, and I'm not sure if Cuba will join BRICS in next 10 years. Also, it's I mean, lesson of Argentina is a painful lesson for BRICS, I guess, and well, this organization will be much more careful now. And it's not just Argentina, by the way. Saudi Arabia has some second thoughts on this matter. United Arab Emirates also, because, well, these two countries are acting quite often in the same direction. Of course, because of the huge influence of Saudi Arabia, and even though relationships are great, I mean good at least, between BRICS and Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. I'm not quite sure that they will become full members of the BRICS, and they will have no change of mind. So there are some obstacles on the way of BRICS, but you know. Mike Davidson is asking, Levon, do you think NATO is going to fail? No, NATO. I don't think NATO is going anywhere. Exactly because what I said earlier. In my understanding, AUKUS in the military alliance of United Kingdom, US, and Australia was created to tackle China, and of course NATO will be also used to against China. So Western ruling class will not allow nobody to dissolve or disintegrate NATO. It's just not happening. Exactly, we are observing now exactly opposite process. They demonized Russia. This is part of a big strategic game for that planned for decades even, isn't it? They start demonizing Russia when? In 2008, when with the hands of their puppet Saakashvili in Georgia, they provoke direct conflict with Russia. That's when this new etap of new chapter on this relationships between Russia and West began, when Russia became demonized by the West. Then we had 2014 in Ukraine, and eventually 2022, when Moscow just had no other options but to get involved directly in this confrontation. And well, Western ruling elites quite successfully managed to not just demonize Russia, but then to use this topic of so-called threat from Russia to push this militarization process into the Western states. And we are observing this process right now, when country after country is making statements that they're going to increase defense spendings, they're going to buy more weapons, do more this and that. And how they are justifying these actions? By Russian threat. Which threat? And point is, no one is challenging them, because if you ask them, I mean, what threat you are talking about? Do you have any real evidence that Russia is planning to attack, let's say, Baltic states or Poland or any other member of the NATO or EU? Of course, they have no evidences for that. But at this point, they don't even need to have any evidence, because they are unchallenged. They are controlling propaganda outlets, and they can push any narrative they want on the public. They demonized Russia already, and unfortunately, very big number of people, very significant part of Western societies, they are quite anti-Russian. If you ask them why exactly, and give them just one or two follow-up questions, they may get confused, because they don't really know why they are against us. But they hear something on the TV, or they read something on a newspaper, and well, that's how propaganda works, man. You know, not many people are trying to learn what really is happening. I mean, sometimes for some people, whatever is told by news channels are enough, by propaganda news outlets, and they start believing in this craziness. Many people in US still are believing in Russiagate. I mean, can you imagine that? When it's proven officially by FBI investigations and investigations of independent journalists that it was a hoax. From very beginning, it was a hoax. But because of this propaganda machine, many people still are believes that there was some Russiagate, and it's only because of Russian help Trump become a president. How insulting this kind of attitude is, can you imagine, towards their own fellow citizens who vote for Trump? I mean, you may like it, don't like it, but your fellow citizens voted for this person. You are bragging about democracy constantly, so what is wrong with you, man? Let these people have their president. President is for everybody, of course. It's everybody's president. It's president of country, but just respect vote of your fellow citizens, and don't call them names, and don't come up with some crazy ideas that it's Russians support him and Martians and some intergalactic forces even. I mean, it's craziness, by the way, but it is what it is. Propaganda has a huge power, you know. But yes, when it comes to NATO, I don't think NATO will be disintegrated. It's exactly opposite will happen. And just look, by the way, when Trump will become president, if he will be allowed, because at this point, U.S. judiciary system was used for political prosecution of Trump so severely that I'm not quite sure if Trump will even reach to presidential elections. But if he will, then most likely he will win elections, he will become president, and in that case NATO will become even more stronger, because he will demand from all NATO member states to increase spendings on militaries. And this is his policies from his first presidential term, isn't it? So no, NATO is not going nowhere. Questions. Questions. Dear friends, sorry if I miss your question. Jean Philippe Martinez, thank you very much for your kind words. I appreciate. Thank you. And Sam Livingstone is writing, commenting, BRICS needs actual physical currency or it's pointless. Well, I have to agree with you, because there are huge expectations, isn't it, worldwide, that at some point BRICS will come up with its own currency, and this currency automatically will become a major world reserve currency. Maybe would not be able to challenge dollar straight away. Dollar will still remain main reserve currency, of course, but BRICS currency definitely can challenge straight away euro. That's for sure. And it's necessary, by the way. But to have a currency, you have to have some alternative financial institutions, banking systems, and alternative to the Western one. And well, I guess capitals of BRICS member states are working on this topic. It's not going to be easy process, because there's so many countries, by the way, and they don't have every single one of them has its own interests, and they have to balance too many stuff. It's very complex issue, but same time they have to rush, kind of, because I mean, we have more and more indicators. That world economy is beginning to suffer on a significant scale, because Western financial system and banking system and Western main currencies, dollar, euro, have been weaponized by Western ruling elites. And a few minutes ago I reported about decision of some Turkish businessmen to sue Washington, to sue US government exactly for these illegal sanctions, secondary sanctions that will theoretically at least destroy many businesses, or force businesses to to find some shadow ways to do business with which is not good, by the way. Those businesses want to do business openly, and they are kind of not allowed to do so, and just because someone in Washington wants it this way. It's crazy, man. And that's why alternative is definitely necessary. And once these alternative institutions will be built, I guess BRICS currency will be next step. So yes, I agree with you absolutely. And I guess Mike Davidson is commenting, what is Russia saying about all the CIA bases in Ukraine? Well, this it was New York Times article, isn't it, about 12 bases in Ukraine, and well, maybe that information was some kind of revelation for a Western audience, but not for us really, because it's not just CIA's some bases. I mean, I'm not quite sure basis is the right word when we are talking about some secret services. CIA operates, I guess, and secret services in general, a little different way. They may have some, I don't know, conspiratory some stuff, but basis, it's some whatever. We all know here for a long time, by the way, that CIA basically is running SBU, Ukraine's security service, since 2014. They are directly running SBU, and in Russian media you can find even publications in which floor of, for example, buildings of SBU, in which buildings and in which floors, in which cabinets those CIA personnel is working. It's not just 12 bases, it's entire Ukraine is controlled by CIA, and automatically, of course, ultimately by Washington. So it was nothing new, and all the comments here basically was saying the same, that for us, it's, I mean, we all knew it, that CIA is using Ukraine as a proxy against Russia, but well, for Western society, yes, probably it was some kind of surprise, because many people probably believe that Russia, for no reason at all, started this special military operation in 2022, because that's what they were told by Western propaganda outlets, isn't it? And this lie goes without being challenged on MSM. If you want to hear some real news, real information, you have to go into internet. And there is, thanks God, there is great channels, by the way, in the West, in Europe, in US, great channels that are providing society with a great deal of information, objective information. I can name plenty of them, and they are experts, by the way, also. Judge Napolitano's channel, for example, I believe many of you are familiar with this channel. Gray Zone, by the way, great channel. Useful Idiots. It's Aaron Mate and his co-host, sorry, I forgot her name. A great show also. I mean, so many, by the way, so many channels. Jimmy Dore's show, by the way. Jimmy Dore may be a comedian, but he's a great political commentator, and you know, and many more. And if you are, for example, citizen of one of the Western states, what you gonna do? I mean, how are you gonna find out what is really going on? Only way is to, I don't know, Google it, or look for some information on YouTube, on Rumble, on some other platforms, and hopefully you will find one of those channels that are independent and are trying to find out what is really going on. And there is such opportunity, really, but yet again, with all respect to Judge Napolitano and all his guests, can they compete with the cable network in US? I don't think so. Of course they cannot. Many thousands of people will be well informed, of course, but through that channel or other channels, but well, tens of millions of people still will receive their information from these propaganda outlets, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, and I mean the rest of them. And same goes for Europe, by the way. It's no any better in Europe. Absolutely. Come, are you trolling me? You cannot send bitcoins, by the way. I don't have a wallet, that crypto wallet. But if you have 6 bitcoins to send to somewhere, send it to some charity, by the way, of your choosing. Oh, New Atlas, by the way, of course, Gary Kogan. New Atlas is another great channel. Duran, by the way, great channel. There's so many of them, you know. When you are beginning to mention all those channels, you're definitely gonna miss many of them. So, Katie Helper, yes, absolutely, co-host. Rafael Petra is commenting. Yes, thank you, Rafael. Katie Helper, of course, a great presenter and a very brave one, I believe. I mean, you know. So Mike Davidson is commenting. I don't know if you know Colonel McGregor, but he sounds a lot like you. Oh, thank you very much, Mike. This is a honor to be compared to McGregor, because he is one of the voices of reason that we hear from US, by the way. Of course, I know about him. McGregor, Scott Ritter, and as I said, thanks God that they are experts, by the way, in the West, that are not afraid to say stuff as it is. And of course, McGregor is one of them. So, thank you. The one tweet is commenting, did you see the protests in France against warmonger Macron? Yes, I did so. Yes, I did so. Several videos with protesters, which is great sign, of course, which is great sign. But people were. I mean, if there were like much more people on those demonstrations, that might had some influence, maybe theoretically at least, but maybe, I mean, not maybe, definitely it will take some more time to wake up society. So therefore, well, I can only thank those brave people that came out to that demonstration, because at least they are realizing, as we do, that direct confrontation between Russia and NATO is total madness, craziness, and we cannot allow this to happen, because it will annihilate human civilization. Unfortunately, for some people, it's very difficult, seems like, to have this understanding of how dangerous direct confrontation will be between Russia and NATO. Oh, Jerry. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Jerry. Sorry, Jerry. I will know now. I will know now. So, yes, I saw that protests. I cannot remember. I share on my Telegram channel or not, but I definitely saw on one of the channels several videos of protests in France. So, dear friends, you wish you had my name commented. What shocked me was when the Canadian Parliament uploaded the Nazi. Well, that was spectacular failure on part of Canadian Parliament, Canadian government. I agree with you absolutely. How they, I don't know, man. I cannot even understand how did they manage to fail this match. I mean, did there anybody understands history or know some knowledge about history? Because if they did, then they will know that this individual, only way this individual would fight against Soviet Union than if he was fighting with Nazi Germany in SS, in some SS divisions. And he was. So, well, that was, of course, unbelievable failure on part of Canada. I find it also difficult to understand how they managed to do this. But, and by the way, Zelensky, he definitely knew what was going on and who was that person. And he applauded him. I mean, how... it's sad, man. It's just sad. You know. So, dear friends, if I may, I will end this update now. It's almost 1.5 hours. I'm extremely thankful to all of you for your attention. Sorry if I miss any questions. Once again, thank you very much for attention, for participating, and of course, many thanks to all the members of our community who will see this video later on. I wish you a great day and take care. Bye for now.